What? If you're going to say iCarly, it's nothing like that.
It's exactly like that. I know everybody needs to follow you around. That's the video camera one, right? She's got like yeah, okay, yeah.
They jump on a beanbag every so often and go, "Hey guys!"
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun to have somebody follow you around with a camera. You know, we could just post it on YouTube or something.
It would just be me swearing at people.
Yeah,
falling over.
It's brilliant. It's like daytime TV,
or
right?
Swearing at myself because I fell over.
Now, did you guys in over there in Britland have any equivalent TV shows as to like Jerry Springer out here in the U.S.? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, we have Jeremy Kyle. So remember we talked about chavs?
Vaguely, maybe, probably not. What is it?
The chavs, the angry teenagers that have their socks turned.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Okay,
right.
So basically,
guys,
all the tracksuit people take their girlfriends on TV.
Oh,
and then like they all just fight and shame and get DNA tests and end up sleeping with their dads and all sorts of shenanigans.
All right, and that's still a popular thing out there?
I mean, they banned it now because too much shit was going down.
Oh, interesting.
But there's reruns, so.
Yeah, I just watched this documentary. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like about the 90s. And the first episode revolves around Jerry Springer. And it was pretty funny. It was interesting. They hype it up so much and make it like such a big deal. But at the time, I don't know. It didn't seem like it was a big deal.
I like Ricky Lake.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. She's an actress, too.
I mean, there's less chair throwing, but she gets to the meat of the issue.
Well, here we are for another episode, Carly.
Yay!
And I'm just going to apologize to our listeners out there for forgetting to post last week's show. But it'll show up. My apologies. Carly gave me an earful earlier.
Is that because it's Keanu Reeves and you don't want it to become reality?
Keanu who?
That you watched a Keanu Reeves film.
Keanu who?
What do you mean,
Is that
Keanu?
even a real name? Is that a real name?
You listen. They'll find out that you were checking out his kneecaps. So,
right. I guess they will. Well, by the time that they listen to this, they will have already listened to that. So,
so why are you apologizing, you fool?
It's a posthumous apology. Yeah. So I've been editing the next episode of Haunted Objects. And for those at home, if you don't know what Haunted Objects is, we have this show on the Paranormal Network on YouTube. You should check it out. It is hosted by Evan O'Hare, who does this amazing job. Oh, yeah. And he introduces and tells you stories revolving around objects that are supposedly haunted. And I'm editing the next episode that will go live. Oh, when does it go? It goes up on March 16th. So I think actually by the time you listen to this episode, that episode will be just coming out. And this is a good one, Carly. This is the one where Evan is dressed up in the tux and we go over the Myrtle Plantation Mirror and we talk about the Screaming Skull and the Haunted Wedding Dress. So it's a good episode.
Ooh.
Yeah. Most episodes only revolve around 2 stories. This one actually has 3 in it. So listeners at home, if you're interested and you like the paranormal, you should check out our show Haunted Objects on the Paranormal Network on YouTube. You can it's probably easier to just search Paranormal Network. As if you type in Haunted Objects, you're going to be flooded with a bunch of
look at
individual
our
videos.
Playlist.
Or our playlist, yeah, or at Resurrection Films, yeah. You can find us on YouTube as well. So check it out if you're into that kind of thing. It's this next episode is going to be really fun. And I think the last episode was our Judge Rinder episode, right? Which I think
it was
a bit. Yeah, I thought was pretty fun too.
I just like watching Judge Reiner yell at people passively aggressively yell at people.
Sure, yeah. It's just like you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I would have thrown the little hammer thing that they get. That I would have lost that. I'd be on like my 27th. But I can't deal with your stupidity. A doll. How can you not pay a human being because a haunted doll told you not to? Straight in the fucking face. Straight in the face.
Yeah. And that dope, he would have probably just taken and be like, what I do wrong?
Yep. And then I would be like, listen, my verdict is take everything out of his pockets, whatever you can find to get your money while he's on the ground. And take the doll back. It's weird.
Wow. He's pretty funny in his own right. I really liked Judge Rinder. I'd never heard of him before. Oh, so back in the day, we had Judge Wapner, and then he quit and eventually passed away. And then we had who is it? The lady now,
Judge Judy.
Judge Judy, right? Yeah.
I like her because she's not passive aggressive. She just yells at people.
She's just aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, she's actively aggressive.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So yeah, again, search for the Paranormal Network on YouTube and check out Haunted Objects. And also there's a couple other shows that I edit for the Paranormal Network. You can also check out We Want to Believe, which is created and hosted by Jason Hewlett. Sorry, Jay. And Peter
You just
Wren.
made up a surname right there.
Which, yeah. If you're into ghost hunting shows, like, I don't know, what are those ghost hunting shows that were like on Discovery and Travel Channel and stuff? I can't think of the names of them because I didn't really watch
like Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters. There you go.
Taps, not Ghost Hunters. Taps is really good because they're actually like, no, it's your plumbing. Or, yes, it's a ghost.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what We Want to Believe is about. If you guys check that out, it's a very grounded, realistic ghost hunting show where they're not going to fake you with, bumps and sounds that aren't real. And if they hear something, they try to debunk it over trying to prove that it's paranormal. So it's a fun show. You guys should check that out. You can also check out another talk show that I added on there called Hunting the Haunted, where again, Jason Hewlett and Peter Wren go over famous cases of the paranormal and try to decide from their opinion, their point of view, whether it's something that's credible or seems faked. So all three of those are pretty fun shows. You should check them out. I don't know why I got on that because we're here to talk about a film noir, right? And yeah. So, but I go on tangents sometimes, and I think that's why people like tune out and they're like, I'm not listening to this shit. Click.
Well,
let's listen to
do you know
Serial.
Something funny? Something funny? Whilst you were waffling on, I sent a text message that was meant to be for Lily, and I've just sent it to my mum, and I just know in the next 5 minutes I'm going to have 27 phone calls and garbled messages because she just cannot understand. Like, she'll read what I've sent and then won't read the, sorry, meant to text Lily bit. And she's going to be utterly bamboozled for at least another 2 hours.
Oh, no.
Oops.
Just send her a new text message or call her real quick, Get her on the line. Let's talk to her on the show.
We are not putting my mother on the podcast.
Why? That'd be great.
She is drunk after 3:00 in the afternoon.
Even better.
She's like, I tried all your drinks, watched all your film, it was shit. What's next?
All right. With that said, let's get in for tonight's drink, which is sort of related to our movie tonight and sort of not related to our movie. Okay. This is called the Notorious Rb Ginger, and it's named after Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was a Supreme Court Justice here in the U.S. But I picked this because obviously the name Notorious Rb Ginger.
Nice.
Okay. And this drink is made with 0.75 ounces of Contraeu. I know. I still can't say that word. Contraeu. I'm phonetic. It's all about phonics. Coin.
It's not about speaking.
Ew. It sounds French. Contraeu.
Okay,
moving on.
Nearly choked.
Moving on. 1.5 ounces of Mount Gray. Sorry. 1.5 ounces of Mount Gay rum. Don't know what that is. 0.75 ounces of fresh lemon juice, which I hate lemon as usual. 0.25 ounces of simple syrup. It says 2 coins of fresh ginger, and I don't know what that means. I'm guessing like a slice or something.
I don't know. I don't deal with ginger a lot. Don't really like it. Not a fan. Ginger nuts, like them. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't mind ginger if it's in moderation, because it can burns your mouth if there's too much.
I like it when it's in a candle.
Oh, like the smell of it?
Yeah,
okay.
I like the smell of it.
All right. And then after your 2 coins of fresh ginger, which I'm assuming are slices, 3 ounces of ginger beer to top it off. Now, the write-up on this drink says, just like Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself, this drink is inspired by RBG. The documentary about the Supreme Court Justice is strong with a touch of sweetness. And how you make it is you muddle ginger in simple syrup in the bottom of a shaker, add the Contraire, rum, and lemon juice, shake and strain over ice, and you top with your ginger beer. I can't speak as usual. This actually sounds pretty good to me. This sounds like a good drink. I would drink this.
Thank God you don't have to order it by asking for the ingredients at the bar.
There's a lot of ingredients, right? It's a lot of little
that you
things
can't
going
say.
on in here that I can't say. No, give me the Notorious Rb Ginger. The what? Well, it's 0.75 ounces coin tray. Ew. 1.5 ounces of Mount Gay rum. The coin what? Yeah, no, I would be terrible with this.
That's so funny.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we hope that you guys tried these drinks at home. That's part of the fun of the show. So at some point, even if you don't have these ingredients at home, which is probably not likely, go out, re-listen to some of these episodes, get a recipe or write it down, and then go get it and make a drink and see if you enjoy it, because we want to hear from you. So while you hopefully enjoy or think about enjoying a Notorious Rb Ginger, let's take a listen to tonight's trailer.
What's your angle?
Got a job for you.
There's only one job that you coppers would want me for.
You remember a man named Sebastian?
One of my father's friends, yes.
He's part of the combine that built up the German war machine in hopes to keep on going. We have to contact him.
She's a perfect type for the job. Sebastian knows her. He was once in love with her. She's good at making friends with gentlemen.
I don't think any of us have any illusions about her character, have we, Devlin?
This is a very strange love affair.
Find out what's going on inside this house, what the group around him is up to, and report to us.
Oh, darling, what you didn't tell them, tell me. That you believe I'm nice and that I love you and I'll never change back.
She's had me worried for some time. A woman of that sort.
I was watching you and your friend, Mr. Devlin.
Mr. Devlin doesn't mean a thing to me.
I'd like to be convinced.
Someone is coming.
I'm gonna kiss you.
No, he'd only think we...
What I want him to think. Because it's a tough job we're on. She's never been trained for that kind of work.
I've got to get you out of here.
Trailer for the 1946 film Notorious. And Notorious is a 1946 American spy film noir directed and produced by Alfred Hitchcock. It stars Cary Grant, Ingrid Bergman, and Claude Rains. And I think because I often step all over Carly's in a nutshell, let's just hurry up and move on to the nutshell.
Bloody hellfire.
Right?
You actually remembered.
I kind of remembered. I think I remembered. I don't know. Did you prepare in a nutshell synopsis for today?
Of course I bloody did.
All right. Well then, Carly, here we go. And now it's time for Carly's super famous in a nutshell synopsis.
I can't talk now. Cary Grant as a suave pimp, and everybody seems to be okay with it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know about a pimp. Is he a pimp in this movie? I don't know.
You mean he's pimping her out, isn't he? Let's face it, to that weird old bloke whose mother looks like his wife.
You're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
And they're having meetings about how well she's doing at the pimping situation, which I think is a little bit odd, if I'm honest. And he's just like, yeah, he's got his arm folded. Yeah, crack on. So, I mean, he's a pimp.
That's true. You're not wrong. Not wrong at all. I'm not a huge Cary Grant fan. Do you like him?
I love him.
Do you?
I love him. Yeah, I actually really do. He's like my guilty pleasure. I love Arsenic and Old Lace and His Girl Friday so much.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't know why. Like even with this movie, I was just like, he's just there.
The only thing I don't understand why he doesn't let her kiss him. She looks like she's kissing a mirror half the time, and I don't understand why. That's the only thing with him. He's not very natural, like romantic leading man.
Probably because he's gay. I mean, at that time, a lot of these actors were. I don't know. Maybe he was. I don't know. Was that like I don't know too much about him.
He just seems really like. I don't know if it's because it's like macho or something. He just seems incredibly uncomfortable when she's put her face near his.
Yeah, maybe he's a Rock Hudson type where, he's not into women. I don't know. But I do know that there is some lore to the kissing in this film. So this might answer your question, and it might not be because he's gay. So, which is fine either way. But here is what I found out, which I thought was pretty interesting because I didn't know this. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that know this. I'm no expert in any of this stuff, but I do find it fascinating when I come across pieces of information that are new to me. So I hope you guys at home do too. So Hitchcock did something which I agree with you. It feels unnatural in this movie. The kissing, it's odd because she's like kissing a post or something.
It as well. Yeah, it's like not required.
Mm-hmm. So here's what happened. There was a law. There was like a ban on kisses over 3 seconds. In films back then. It was like a part of the like the code. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I should know this stuff, but I don't. But there's like this code of like conduct in films kind of thing. So there was a ban on kissing over 3 seconds. So what Hitchcock did, which is kind of ingenious, he had her kissing him and then stop and then kiss and then stop and kiss and stop and kiss. And so it ends up being like this 3-minute like kiss scene of a bunch of broken into short kisses over the course of that running time. So that's probably part of the reason why a lot of the kissing in this movie feels or seems unnatural, because I think Hitchcock was kind of trying to get away with something to sell the romance, because at the time Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman were huge stars, right? So this is kind of one of those things that everybody would have wanted to see. So I think that maybe hopefully that answers part of your question.
I mean, I think everybody's falling in love just so fast. It's like they have one conversation. I'm so in love.
Right.
I mean, calm down.
Yeah, which, I think that Shawnee and I, we were watching this, and that was part of our issue with it, is like the story feels choppy And let me precurse this. Let me precurse this.
With her, kind of like, if he'd have fell in love with her as this was going on, I could understand that, and that would be better because he's having to watch this as he's falling in love.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand this. We've gone on a plane ride, and now we're madly in love.
Yeah, and that was our issue with it. Is like, I know that this is a very celebrated film. This is Hitchcock's, I think, break into like the spy territory. And so there's a lot of celebration around this film, what he did with this film and all that kind of stuff. But I personally found it so choppy, story-wise, with the accelerated romance, with a lot of different elements of the film. Just, it did not play smooth to me. Now there was a lot of cool things that he did do in the film, but I feel like whether it was the script or whether it was the direction, or maybe even ratings issues, I'm not 100% sure what caused it to have this choppy feeling to it. But yeah, the romance portion of it, like, didn't work for me one single bit. And then not really being a huge Cary Grant fan, and he's very stoic and quiet in this film. He doesn't do a whole lot. He just pops into the room, smokes a cigarette, gets kissed on, and's like, well, go sleep with him. I'll be back. Right?
I was expecting him to be around a little bit more, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no.
Because usually when you watch a Cary Grant film, like, he is front and center, like, he is everywhere. And I was quite surprised that he's the lead in this, and he is nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like this is like the equivalent of today's films where they get like a big star for like 3 days of time, and he's like in like 2 scenes of the movie or something like that.
Yeah, but on the front of the poster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, if you add it all up, he's in a good amount of the movie. He just doesn't really do anything, and I think so he falls into the background mostly. Like, this is like, to me, it's like almost a precursor to like James Bond or something.
Yeah. Wouldn't he have been a bloody good James Bond?
Well,
when you watch this,
there's 2 things stacked against, that, from my opinion, because 1, I can't stand James Bond, and 2, I can't stand Cary Grant. So I decline to answer, maybe.
I'm going to start a little Facebook group. I'm going to find all the Cary Grant fans, and I'm going to write, listen, Pickles.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fine. I get it. I mean, I'm the same way with a lot of actors. Like, I can't stand DiCaprio. I can't stand like Brad Pitt. There's certain actors that are just themselves. I don't know.
I can't stand Tom Cruise.
Oh, me neither.
I hate him.
Yeah.
No, I hate him.
Yeah. And it's usually those big stars that are that way for me, because they're themselves. They're the same in every movie. Now, granted, I do think DiCaprio has gotten a lot better later in life. Like, there's certain roles that he's done, I thought, were pretty good. But, and the same with Tom Cruise did a couple of things, but it's usually like silly, stupid shit, like where he's in the, was it Tropic Thunder, where he plays like the heavyweight, like, dude, and does like the dancing at the end of like, you don't even know it's Tom Cruise. Right. So that like works for me, just because you have no idea that it's him. But that's like it, but and then like earlier in his career, I was okay with it because he wasn't as like, I don't know, doesn't have that sort of narcissistic sort of like atmosphere to him. Like if you look at movies like Color of Money or Cocktail or something like that, or even Rain Man. That was sort of the time where he started becoming like this huge star. And like, I don't know, he just was the same person every movie. He just got tired of it. Yeah, maybe he was just in too much stuff at the time, but that's kind of the same feeling I have with Cary Grant. Like, I haven't seen a lot of his films, but I just don't really care for him, I guess. Like, there's so many.
Oh, you've got to watch His Girl Friday. Have you seen that?
I'm honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I would say that I have, but I don't really recall, because I watched a lot of noir.
Oh God, it's not noir.
Is that even a noir? It's not a noir, but it's like a 1940s or 50s
not,
film, right?
Not even at all. That's where my annoying use of language in scripts comes from. because I spent years trying to imitate the back and forth that they had, because it was so, I can't remember exactly, but it's one of the like fastest read dialogue interactions like ever in film history. And because I love, because they don't really speak how normal people speak, but because of the way they're bantering and bickering, it comes across even more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's I think it's kind of like, if I was wanting to argue with my husband or with anybody, it's what I would have thought after the fact that it's happened. You know, when you go back and you think, oh, I should have fucking said that. It's like that, but at the time, it's just brilliant. And that's why I add loads of extra words in that aren't necessary and have weird speech patterns. It's his fault. Basically.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know, I don't know that always works, but I will definitely check it out. His Girl Friday.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. Like, you're a great writer. Like, you've done some good stuff, but sometimes, you know, I always look at it like, well, maybe it's the English barrier. It sounds stupid.
That's what I'm going to tell people. When they say you shit, I'm going to go, that's just the English translation, mate. I'm actually brilliant.
Right. So Notorious is considered to be a huge you know, kind of landmark film for Hitchcock artistically. And they kind of consider this film to be like the height of his maturity as a filmmaker, which I just don't agree with. I don't know. I don't agree with the love of this film, but I mean, to each their own kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to knock it. It's just my personal preference or feeling on it. It's like, I see some really cool things that he did in it, but I also see that there's some very unevenness and choppiness to the movie that sort of knocks it down several notches for me. But he was 46 years old when he made this. And I guess it was he was trying to create a serious love story. And I think he failed at that miserably. Like, in my opinion, like, that's the one thing he was trying to do with this film. In my opinion, I think he failed, because it's so over the kind of top, just how quickly it comes together. And, you know, I mean, even the premise of the story, like her father being this like spy, and then them being like, oh, we heard what you said on this tape to tape. Why don't you come help us? It's like, really? Like, that's easy. You know, like the whole setup just kind of, I don't know, it was strange. And the love story was just the
setup. I like the setup. I like the like spy bit, and I don't think there was anywhere near enough of that, because I thought the love story was taken front and center, when actually the spy bit I found a little bit more interesting, especially with her being a bit of a drunkard, and I would have liked to have seen a bit more of that.
No, and I totally agree with you. And I think that's the downfall of the film. Like, even her being an alcoholic sort of thing, they didn't spend enough time. They didn't spend enough time showing us that she is an alcoholic. I mean, we get like one scene, right?
And then he makes a comment, doesn't he, later on?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And like, I don't think you see her drink one other time in the rest of the movie. So it's kind of silly. So, and just like the romance aspect of it, there was very little courting between the two. And that's the same thing with the spy thing. I feel like they should have been courting her longer to do this job. You know, but it's like, it's a one
really
night.
Good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know, like the little tricks that she does, like when she gets the key and all that sort of stuff. That's, if we'd have had loads more of those, that would have been like amazing.
Yeah, but that's I'm talking about early on, like even getting her to go in and even take the plane flight. Like, I feel like the first half of the movie needed to be long. They needed to spend more time story-wise developing those characters' relationships and why would she do this. Like, I wanted to see them breaking her down, her resolve, her being like, for America, not being a spy, but also being, loyal to her father in some respect, and them having to sort of break her down to make her a part of this, and that would also help with developing the romantic relationship between them, the two of them, sort of culminating in this flight where they could sort of bring it all together right there. And then from then on, the rest of it would really make sense, but they just didn't spend that kind of time, and that's that I think was a huge disservice for this particular type of film, especially if his one biggest thing he was wanting to do was to create a serious love story. Like he showed us maybe the maturity of the characters in a way that they're adult enough to be like, okay, well, she has to do this. That sucks. Maybe we won't end up together, and them dealing with it in a mature way, which is fine. But we didn't really get to see them grow from the beginning. And that, I think, just didn't help it at all. This was a film that was selected for the preservation of the United States National Film Registry. Do you guys have anything like that in the UK?
Probably. BFI probably does something. Yeah, but they only play favourites, so there's only the same 10 filmmakers that we ever see.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I think
even if it's shite, it's just, okay, Richard Curtis has got another comedy film out with 27 characters in it that doesn't make sense, but because he wrote Blackadder 20 years ago, of course it's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think we get a lot of that here in the States too. I think that's anywhere. Yeah, it was, for whatever it's worth, it was selected for the preservation of the United States National Film Registry and the Library of Congress as being culturally and historically and aesthetically significant. And I do think that there probably is some historical, reasoning behind this film that would make it, that would make sense that it would be preserved, because this is all about the Cold War and that kind of thing. And aesthetically, I think Hitchcock did do some fairly cool things in this film. I don't feel like there was anything over the top, crazy interesting that he did, but there were some cool, interesting shots that he was able to pull off, which made it more interesting than I think that what we were seeing on screen, really. How did you feel about it? Like, the aesthetically, like, I don't think this really looked like a noir. I don't think it really felt like a noir. It was more, to me, like a spy movie.
It didn't really feel like a film noir. It felt like it was struggling a little bit for what it wanted to be. Did it want to be a thriller? Did it want to be a romance?
Yeah. It was uneven.
That's probably why you're like struggling with the balance of it a little bit.
Yeah.
I quite liked it though.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I mean,
once I got past this is ridiculous, they fell in love after 20-minute conversation. But I think partially because Cary Grant's character went out of the way. So then I really enjoyed just watching her. Because I think she's fantastic. I think she's a really, really good actress. I really like her. Oh, yeah. So I really did enjoy just watching her sort of have her time. And then when he came back into it, because they weren't all over each other, licking each other's cheeks, I kind of forgot about the original weird romance bit. So then when he came into it a bit more and started getting a bit more worried, because obviously she wasn't checking in and he thought she was just drinking, and actually she's been poisoned by the lunatics in the mansion.
Yeah.
I really loved when he got her out. What a scene. When he got her out of the bloody house.
Yeah. No, it was good.
I thought like that was fantastic.
Yeah, I really think that the movie was finding its stride at that point. Like once they got into that, like, and it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know at the time if that was familiar, but by today's standards, that sort of like idea of the poisoning, that's pretty familiar by today's standard. But they did sort of, they made it work really well, because he's like, screw it, I'm going in there. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to, we'll figure this out, whatever happens. And then by sort of like in this like forward blackmail sort of scenario, they were able to escape, which I thought was really cool. And I thought it was hilarious where the guy's like, let me in the car. They're going to kill me. It's like, that's your problem. And they just kind of take off. I thought that was really fun.
I like that. And you could tell as well how the mother was like, yeah, you witch. You can shut up.
Yeah. And that's funny that you bring her up. The mother's name was Ethel Barrymore. And I don't know if you dug into that at all, but Ethel Barrymore is, I think, the great aunt of Drew Barrymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And her grandfather is John Barrymore, who is, she has a very famous family, lineage as far as acting goes.
That's a fact. And you're not just making that up to monkey with my emotions.
Absolutely a fact. Yeah. John Barrymore was, I think, probably the most famous, besides Drew. I think Drew is, modern day is the most famous, but John Barrymore was very famous for the time. And Ethel Barrymore was too back in the day. She was, I think, the first one. There's like 4 or 5 people in her family that is, at their time of life was very famous. But I thought that was pretty interesting because I don't recognize the connection as far as the look. Like they don't look like each other or anything. But also, which I found interesting is I'm wondering if Drew Barrymore's first name comes from another part of her family lineage, because the 2 families that sort of converge in her ancestry is the Barrymores and the Drews. And so I was wondering, I don't know. I couldn't find any information on that, but I'm wondering if her first name comes from that side of the family's last name, which I thought would be interesting. But again, couldn't find a whole lot of information. Maybe
we should tweet her.
There you go.
Yeah, I would tweet more from the Speakeasy Noircast Twitter account, by the way, but I may have logged myself out and lost the password. I was trying to keep this on the down low, but it's been a while.
You're as bad with that stuff as I am with pronunciations.
I know. It's because I have angry finger syndrome, so I type on the tiny little squares.
But now you have a laptop.
Just don't type the right words. I want a BlackBerry back, with the actual keys. Boosh, done.
No. You have a new laptop. You need to start using it and use Chrome or something that has like a password saver. All right. So you won't have that problem anymore. Okay.
No, I will. Once I figured out the email address I used, we're golden.
I can figure that out for you, I think, because I think we have it in somewhere else. But anyway, you need to get on board with the laptop. Your generation of cell phones.
I will tweet Drew Barrymore from my laptop. Excuse me, dear Drew.
I don't understand your generation with trying to like edit photos on a phone or video and stuff. It's like, what? It's so crazy.
It's because, Jason, when you get angry, you can throw the phone. They've been made to be durable enough for angry people like me to throw them at a brick wall and them still work. Laptops, it's a bit obvious when you throw a laptop in a hissy Hulk fit.
They cost about the same amount of money, though. I would never throw my phone.
Now, see, I'm banned from having Jason. Street just lets me have like the cheapest shitty thing from China going that does what I need, because 9 times out of 10, it's going down the staircase. It's at the wall. I mean, even if I'm not trying, it's on the floor sometimes.
So what you're saying is that we need to get you some anger management classes here so you can stop throwing your phone. Maybe you'll be able to invest in some newer technology. Won't forget your passwords.
Is it called Inside Out? That little angry red thing? That's me.
My daughter says that's me too. That's so funny.
I always tell people, when you're at work and you have to look professional and you go, pick which one you are. I always pick joy. Realistically, I'm not. I'm the angry little red thing that's going nuts in the background.
So you're just lying on the outside to people. Yeah?
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh boy. Now, speaking of hiding, did you catch Hitchcock's cameo in the movie? Because he does a cameo in like all of his movies, right?
Yeah, but I didn't know where it was.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't find him.
Really? Okay. So it's about an hour into the film. And there's actually two different versions of the film. There's the full film and there's an edited version. I'm not 100% sure what the differences are, but it's about an hour into the movie, the version I watched. And he's at the party that she has. And
okay.
Cary Grant's character shows up. And Hitchcock is he's like drinking a glass of something or other as Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman's characters like approach, and then he just sets it down and walks out of frame. But yeah, he's in there. It's he's there, like, some of his cameos are really kind of hard to see. Like sometimes it's just a shadow or a reflection in a window or something like that, which is cool. But occasionally you see these ones where he's like in it, So anyway,
so he's not as obvious as Quentin Tarantino, who just like takes up the screen for 25 minutes rambling.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much
in his cameos
just casts himself in the movie. It's not really a cameo.
I'm making a cameo as a character that's in every scene.
Right. No, it's more like the Stan Lee sort of thing. But I don't think that I recall any films where Hitchcock speaks or has a line. I could be wrong, but I would want to check that out because, like, Stan Lee does the same thing. Like all the Marvel movies, he puts.
Yeah, but he only has like one line. It's like a one-liner, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah,
really.
Like, kid, look there, or whatever. I think maybe one or two movies he had like an actual like little monologue, but that was about it. But it's kind of like on that level, But I think Hitchcock was kind of smart about it because he has a well-defined sort of look. Obviously, like if you look at his TV shows and stuff, they use his shadow as an outline, so, he's kind of easy to see. So I thought it was really cool how most of his films, he's a little difficult to see his cameos.
Yeah. It's a bit like Where's Wally?
Yeah. Where's Wally? Waldo?
Well, no, Where's Wally?
You have Where's Wally? We have Where's Waldo.
He's red and yellow, and he has glasses and a big nose.
Ours is red and white.
No, I'm sorry, I said the wrong color. I'm having such a brain fart. He is red and white.
Okay, so I guess they just changed his name.
Oh, that's
I think
weird.
they just changed his name for Brit. Yeah, it's Waldo out here. It's funny. Where's Wally? Huh, interesting.
Yeah, where's Wally?
Yeah. Now Hitchcock had a really difficult time with this film. It was originally being backed by Selznick, and eventually, I guess because the troubles Hitchcock and Selznick were having, Selznick wanted somebody else to play Cary Grant's role and all these different issues. I think I can't remember exactly who it was. Maybe Joseph Cotton or something. I can't remember. Somebody that he had under contract, but Hitchcock really wanted his cast or whatever. And Selznick eventually sold it to RKO for a huge amount of money, in my opinion, $800,000. On top of that, he was able to retain 50% of the profits.
Wow.
That the movie made. So what an amazing fucking deal, right?
Yeah.
But I guess RKO and Hitchcock really wanted to part ways, and the movie did really well, so it wasn't a huge deal. But I guess Selznick was still in the picture because he owned 50% of it, and so they still had to deal with him and his script changes and whatever it might be. But
being a nightmare. Yeah,
pretty much. But those little like things are always interesting to me to find out about, behind the scenes stuff of these older films. Too bad documentaries and like Blu-ray and DVD extras weren't a thing back then.
Oh, nothing would have got made. They would have murdered people over it, wouldn't they?
Right. Yeah. It's just, it's too bad.
I think that they did, though.
They may have. I mean, there might be some stuff that's just buried,
Yeah. I had a really good book. I'll see if I can root it out for you. I have a really, really good, it's too big to send, but I have a really, really good book about like the golden ages, like the dark side of the golden age of cinema.
Cool. Very cool.
Really, really interesting.
So I can find it out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also thought it was very interesting that this entire movie, and I think that we discussed this too on Dark City, where it was all shot in a studio, the entire film. This entire film was also shot in a studio, except for one scene.
Me.
Yeah. Just one scene was shot outside, and that was the weird, awkward horse riding scene. Where he's trying to get her to get the guy she used to know to notice her, and he's like, "Let me just kick your horse."
Yeah, let me just nearly kill you. Let's trifle with death this morning.
Right.
I mean, he's not noticed on the way past, so what's to say he's going to be bothered that your horse is bolted?
Right. But yeah, that was the only outside scene that was shot, which I didn't even notice it was really, I mean, that could have been a studio scene for all I knew.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? The one thing that I did find a bit odd, though, but I don't know if this is just me. So, so the husband, the guy they're trying to entrap, right? Why is he, I know he's not okay with her relationship or whatever you want to call it with Cary Grant, but why is he like very aware of this dude and very aware that there's clearly something that she's not telling him, and he's always kind of like with her, but never has anybody check any intelligence on his name because he uses his real name? How does he not know that he's with?
So I don't know if you caught it,
like MI5 or whatever.
But he does know, and he lets that out like towards the end of the movie, like that scene where he's going to rescue her. I don't think that he's okay with it. I think what it is that he's a very jealous person. But also at the same time, I think he really is in love with this girl.
Do you think that he just trusts her, that they're sniffing around her and she's very like, for the cause and she's fine?
No, I don't think so. I think in the beginning, like, he was, I don't think it mattered, to be honest with you. I think to him, he had always been in love with this woman, and if she has flaws, she has flaws, kind of thing, until it becomes set in stone that she's a spy. Once he discovers the key and it's her and all that kind of stuff, and it's sort of set in stone, then he's like, well, damn. Okay, I guess we have to take care of her, that kind of thing. But I think at that point, it's not said in the movie, but I'm pretty sure that's when he investigates her friend. Because at the end, when he's getting her out of the house, he says it all. He's like, "Oh, you're blah 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 blah." You know what I mean? Like he tells them that he knows who he is, right? So he had to have investigated him. Why he didn't do it sooner, I don't know. Maybe because, I think certain people that are. Maybe this is just me coming from my own personal, the way that I am. Maybe certain people that have a sort of jealous part of them who don't want to be. So they attempt to not indulge in that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Giving people the benefit of the doubt and not really like wanting to be too
over kind of compensating for, okay. This man
you're hoping for the best kind of thing.
What's to dinner? Yeah, I'm not being weird. I'm not being weird about it. I'm chill. I'm cool.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like it ends up being like this weird sort of like, overcompensation kind of thing. But yeah, I think that might kind of be what it is. That's how I took him, because he doesn't seem like a bad person other than his politics,
Yeah, other than the fact he's a Nazi.
Right. Other than that, he seems like a pleasant person. He seems like he cares about that kind of thing. And he's like wanting to not screw it up, which is like giving her room to be her, taking her word for it, believing her that she's not messing around with this guy, blah, 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 all that kind of crap. I got to stop saying blah, 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 because that's just silly. But that was my take on it, because he doesn't seem like he's a hot-headed kind of guy. you know?
No. I suppose the way he deals with things, though, he can't be. Everything has to be a bit like a big chess game of who's where, who's who, what's
his mother,
doing.
on the other hand, is like,
it's mad.
Kill them all and figure it out later.
Yep. She's like, shoot him in the face, not even bother, just carry on with sewing.
Yeah. So I think that's what it is. But yeah, that was a good point that you brought up, because it is sort of like late in the movie where he really kind of, I know who you are kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, Carly. Well, I guess let's get to rating the film then. I'm kind of curious where you stand on this one, because I know you did like it. Who do you want? You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Well, whoever goes first is regardless. We have to give a big shout out, first of all, to the wine cellar.
Oh, yes, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know.
What? They should do tours of that.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. And you know what? Knowing that was a studio that they built that.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
We can rebuild that. You can build me one, Jason, when we make enough billions.
Well, I have a little, basement at the house in Peoria, so maybe that's something we'll need to do.
Wine cellar. Wine cellar. We'll have a shadow of like Alfred Hitchcock on the wall painted.
Oh my God, is that brilliant? I
know it is. Can you imagine the genius that I would come up with in the wine cellar?
Yes.
My God.
I really do. I love that. I think that's great.
I know. Yeah, you're welcome. That was just thinking about the wine cellar. Imagine if I had a laptop in the wine cellar. Tap, tap, tap. What's daylight? Who knows? But we got 27 film noir scripts. Hey!
Yeah, that's funny.
And I need some new kidneys.
Yeah. All right. Well, then you better go first.
Okay. I'm going to give it an 8.
8? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And why?
Because I like Cary Grant. I like Ingrid Bergman.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the last portion of the film. I thought was absolutely brilliant. I just wish there was a little bit. I wish it was a bit more like that from the start, and their relationship felt more natural at that point as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if we chopped off like the first 20 minutes, I thought it was quite a good, cracking film. So it loses 2 gins for the first 20 minutes being rubbish.
Yeah. And have you seen the film before, or was this first time?
I feel like I've seen it before, but I feel like it's been one of them ones that's just my mum's been watching and it's been on while I've been doing other stuff. I couldn't say that anything was particularly familiar. It's Cary Grant, so I probably picked up a DVD out of a bloody one of them bins where you just get DVDs for about £2. I've probably picked one up. It's probably sat on my shelf with the cellophane still on it. If I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah, so no, I can't recall anything that was particularly familiar to me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to give it a 6. And that's a rating for me where it's like, I would watch it again, but it's not something I will actively seek out to watch again. It was good, in a lot of ways, but in other ways, it just like, it fell apart for me, mainly, like you said, the beginning of the film, which I think is really important. I think that is the crux of the issue of the film, really, is that we need to see these two people's relationship grow to give a shit, and towards the end of the movie, I just found myself like not really caring, because I felt like the whole romance part of it was just so forced and happened so quickly. Like it just didn't really matter to me. And the espionage part of it, like really there wasn't a whole lot going on. You really have the wine cellar and the key, and that's it. I mean, that was really
that's all we need. The wine cellar and the key.
To me, there needed to be at least 2 or 3 things happening, other than just deception. There was just a lot of deception that was going on. But I wanted to see, a few more spy kind of, sneaking around, set pieces, I guess you could say, opposed to just the key in the bottle kind of thing. And that would have worked better for me. But I mean, it's a watchable movie. I think I understand why people like it a lot, and it's a part of the National Film Registry and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's as good as it's portrayed to be. The first half of the movie, or first half hour, 20 minutes, whatever it is, the movie just really sank it for me as far as like loving the film. Had that been, and again, it's so choppy. Maybe there is a better cut of the film somewhere, or was a better cut planned. I'm not sure, but I think that it had room to be better. Yeah. So 6 gens out of 10.
Oh, whack.
Yeah. I don't rate a whole lot of Hitchcock stuff low. I really don't.
You don't actually.
Yeah. This so far of his catalog.
Is this your least favorite?
Yeah. Which still, I liked it. I didn't hate it, but so far, this is the least favorite of everything that I've seen of his. And I haven't seen everything yet, but, so that's where we are.
There we go. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's right. So there you go, guys at home. I think that maybe you guys might enjoy this film. I think you should try it if you haven't seen it already. It is worth watching. Carly gives it would you say an 8?
You give it an 8. Don't secretly give it a 6 like you.
Yeah, and I give it a 6. Yeah, I think it's worth watching. So yeah, I think it's polarizing that way. Yeah, I think it's just polarizing that way because Carly's thinks Cary Grant's a little easy on the eyes and likes him, and I'm indifferent about it, and I got story issues. So maybe you guys at home will. Look, who do you side with, guys?
It was worth it. It was worth it to see Cary Grant smoke a cigarette suavely, be mean and surly, and then brood, and then walk off and forget his bottle of champers. That alone is worth a 6. So,
okay. Well, folks at home, you tell us what you think. We're curious what your thoughts are. All right. So enjoy your Notorious Rb Ginger. What's it called again?
Oh my God.
Yeah, Notorious Rb Ginger. Yeah, enjoy that with watching Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious. And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, and The Dark Side of Acting Up Volume 2, now available on Amazon. Or you can check out one of our films, also available on Amazon Prime. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Speakeasy Noircast.